we are looking into the second kind of representation of data into diagrams, something called the line graph. Now, this is not so usual. The line graph that I picked up to explain to you for this lesson doesn't look like a very regular line graph, because normally what we understand by line graphs are these. We've got the x-axis, we've got the y-axis, and a line or a curve, but we don't have to work about that quite a lot, right? Because we've been doing that since many years now. So I thought to pick up a diagram looking like this, which definitely would push you off your seat if it comes up in the DAT. So let's take a look at it and let's try and decode it to see how difficult or not so difficult it is. Okay, so these are the directions from questions 1 to 4. The following figure represents a flow of natural gas through pipelines between major cities A, B, C, D, and E in suitable units. So what I understand from there is that these are cities. A, B, C, D, E are cities, and then there's gas flow through them, so flow of natural gas through pipelines across major cities. So for example, 1,200 units of gas are going into the city B, and 550 units plus 225 units are leaving out of the city B. Likewise, 1,200 is leaving city A, M units is leaving city A, 1,000 units is leaving city A, and then if you, for example, look at city D, 300 units are coming in, 1,000 units are coming in, 650 units are going out. So that is an overall idea of what this figure represents. Not so difficult, is it? Once these things start to make sense, you'll see how easy the questions really are. The more complex the question is, by the way, the diagram is, the easier the answers are going to be. Okay, so refer to it and answer the following questions. Okay, let's take a look at question number 1. What is the number of units demanded in B? So what's the demand of number of units in city B? If you do take a look, this is city B over here. So how many units are coming in? 1,200 units are coming in. Let me write it 1,200 over there. 1,200 units are coming in. How many units are leaving city B? Anything else coming in? No. So I'm going to focus on how many units going out. 550 units are leaving city B. 550 units. And anything else leaving city B? Yes, there's a 250 that's leaving city B. So say 250. So basically, there's one thing coming in. Let me rewrite it like this. There's one amount coming in. So where we are, what's coming in is 1,200, and what's going out is 550 and 250. So how much is going out altogether? You can add them up. So 800, right? 800 is going out, 1,200 is coming in, which means when 1,200 came into city B, it used up what it needed and gave out the rest. 800 was not needed. So out of the 1,200, 800 was not needed, so it was given out, which means 400 was used, right? Makes sense? 1,200, take away 800 leaves us with 400, which was used in the city B. So the number of units demanded in city B were 400, option B. Clear? So do you see the workout wasn't difficult at all? Why? Because the diagram itself is a bit complex. So that's how normally all questions go. Let's take a look at question number 2. If the number of units demanded in city C are 225, so the number of units demanded by city C are 225, what is the value of M? Looks like M has something to do with city C. Yes, it does, because M is one of the inputs of city C. So let's take a look. M coming in. Anything else coming in? There's a 250 coming in from B, right? So 250 coming in. What's going out? There's an 800 that's leaving to city E, so minus 800. And there's another 300 leaving to city D, so 300. You should end up getting, what should you end up getting? Because they said the demand of city C is 225. So city C uses 225 units of gas. It uses 225 units of gas. M and 250 are coming in, but it gives out this amount, and it's still left over with 225. So once I form the equation, a very similar way to the way I formed it in question number 1 over here, a very similar equation, and then I am just supposed to work them out and get the value of M. So 200 minus 300 would give me a negative 50. And that's an 800 with a negative as well. So that's a negative 850, right? Let me just rewrite it as negative 850. Negative 850, 225, and there's an M here. I only need the M, so let's take everything else to the other side. 225 plus an 850. That would give me a 5 in the units place, a 7 here, and a 10. 1,075 are the units of M over here, going from city A to C. The number of units going from city A to C are M. 1,075. I hope that's clear. Let's move on to the third question. They're saying if the total demand in E is 80% of demand in A, what is the demand in A? Okay, if the total demand in E is 80% off means multiplication in math, right? Of the demand in A, so of the demand in A, then what's the demand in A? Do we know what's the demand in E, by the way? Because there's nothing going out, but there are a few things coming in, which is 550 from city B, 800 from city C, and 650 from city D. Let's add them all up. 0, 0, 1, 6 and 6, 12, and 20, 2,000. So the total coming into city E is a 2,000. So that's a 2,000 equals 80 over 100. Just continue writing the equation. Take the 80 and 100 to the other side, or maybe simplify them before taking them. So that's a 4, and that's a 5. So it's basically 4 over 5a. I want to take the 5 and the 4 to the other side, so it's a 2,000. 5 is in the denominator on the other side, so over here it comes in the numerator. Remember, the order is reverse. That's a 5. And 4 was in the numerator, so it would go down in the denominator. That's 8. Let's simplify it a bit more. So 4 times 1, 4 times 5, and the zeros carry on. 500 times 5, 5 times 5, 25, and the zeros carry on. 2,500. That's what I got for city A. So it looks like the demand for city A is 2,500. Let's move on to question number 4. Assuming the information of question number 2 and 3 to be true, what's the total demand in the 5 cities? So basically the total demand in all the 5 cities. Now let's see, do we know what the demand is in city A? So we need city A, B, C. Let's write them A, B, C, D, and E. Do we know the demand in city A? We worked it out somewhere here. Yes, the last question, number 3, we worked out the demand in city A, which was a 2,500. The demand in city B was the very first question. The demand in city B was a 400. So let me jot that down over there. 400. No. 400. The demand in city C, do we know how much that is? Did we work it out? Yes, they said if the demand in city C is 225, so they gave it to us, 225, let's jot that down, 225, then city D. Do we know what the demand in city D is? We didn't work that out, right? Let's do it over here. The incoming from city A is 1,000. The incoming from city C is 300. Nothing else coming in, but there's something going out. Let's work out the total first. 3,1. 1,300 is coming in, but something's leaving out. The 650 to city E. 650. 1,300 take away 650 would again give you 650. So that's the demand for city D. Let's drop that down. 650. For city E, it was given somewhere here. No, yes, it was. We worked it out, remember? For city E, over here. Actually, we worked it out over here, which is the same thing as what we worked it out over here. So 2,000 is the demand for city E. All we need to do is add it all up now. Because they want the total demand in the 5 cities. So we get a big 0, and actually there are 5 here. 5. Then we've got 2 and 5, that's a 7. 5, 6. 6 and 4 is a 10. 10 and 5, 15, 16, 17. 1 goes up there. I get a 5, 5, 7, 7, 5. Which is option B. That's it. So did you see that the workout wasn't that big a deal? I mean, adding, how difficult is that? And let's say question number 3, using percentages. We've learned that already, and this was a very simple percentage question. This one over here, again, forming an equation and just solving. Again, done that in algebra. And the number of units in B was just this very simple plus and minus. Did you see that questions themselves are not so difficult? Why? Because the figure that they've given you, they know that it's not a very regular figure. So don't be shocked when you come across something looking a bit offshore, because you're sure that the answers and the workout is going to be really simple. With that done, let's move on to the third type of representation of data. Next video. Click play.